Hey loves, welcome to yet another video. If you're new here, my name is Charlie Madesi. I am a South African navigating life in Scotland. Uyabulisa versus Scotland. Welcome to yet another video, you guys. I hope you like it here and I hope you stay. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning back in. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and leave a comment down below. This video is very different from what we used to. We are used to vlogs in this channel, but I thought I should just let you in on the differences between South Africa and Scotland. So let's get right into it. I've just got my creatine with some flavored sparkling water and some orange slices. I think this is what the girlies do. They always have a drink when they do a sit-down video. They always have a drink. So I've just got my notes on my phone. I will be looking at it just for reference so that I don't forget anything. So for those of you who don't know, I live in Scotland and I have been living in Scotland since June 2023. So I've been here about 2.5 years, and in a few months I will be here 3 years. And made the decision to move to Scotland, obviously for better work opportunities and just a better life, and we saw it fitting to grow our family here, and hopefully in a few years we'll be able to settle, become citizens, residents, whatever you call it, because we really like it here. The significant differences that I've seen between South Africa. So Scotland is the people are very intimate, they keep to themselves, it's not very loud. There's like lots of nature, walks, forests, rivers, lochs, castles, museums. It's very much based around that. And in South Africa, it's more your loud, vibey. We are outdoors, we are having a braai, we get together. People just tend to keep to themselves here. It's not as I wouldn't say they're not outgoing, they are, but in a different way, in a very different way than what I am used to. I think one thing that I like and I appreciate about like the UK culture, people will just call you darling, hey darling, hey love, how are you? Like it's so normal, you know. If someone says that to you back home in South Africa, it's like, hey bo, like what's going on? Whereas in Scotland, or the UK rather, because yeah, the UK rather, it's a thing. It's a thing for you to, it's a thing for them to use those terms. Now here are some of the differences, and this is based on my personal experiences. Some people may find it different. I know I am in the UK, but I can only speak about Scotland because this is where I'm based and this is where I've had a lot of my experiences. So I think the first biggest difference is the weather. The weather is so much colder. So in the winter we hit minus temperatures, it's snow, it's rain. Gooby guys, it's bad. It's not cute at all. But also in the summertime here, I feel that the sun, it's very humid. Okay, so there's no fresh breeze that comes with the sun. The weather it goes extreme. If it's hot, it's very hot. If it's cold, it is very, very cold. But you learn to dress for the weather so that it doesn't stop you from doing your regular things, going on about your life. But also I do appreciate that a lot of the areas indoors, when you go to restaurants, when you're out, buses do have AC. A lot of the restaurants or places that you would go to would have like radiators inside, heaters, that type, some sort of heating source, fireplaces, just because it's so cold. Like it is extremely cold. Another different thing, I wouldn't say this came as a culture shock, I have experienced before, is daylight saving, which is basically advancing clocks to make use of longer daylight so darkness falls at a later time. So usually between March and October, that's where we've got daylight saving. So the sun will set in the summertime, the sun will set at around 9 o'clock. So yeah, it's still light, it's bright, it feels like daylight. And then the sun will rise in the early hours of the morning, like 4:30, 4 o'clock, I want to say. It's like right in your eyes, shining bright, which is something we don't do in South Africa, but it's a norm. I know it's a norm here, as well as I've experienced it when I lived in America before. Then the second one is housing accommodation. So when we moved here, we used to live at the staff accommodation, and obviously, yes, it was okay. Was it the best? No, because you've got other people living in and around you. But just just before you make the money to go find a place, you need to factor in, do you need a vehicle? You obviously don't pay for transport to get to work if you're in the staff accommodation. So there's a lot of factors, and it's not a decision that you can just make unless if you've got the money. Unfortunately, we didn't. So yeah, there was quite a lot of things to consider. So the difference with finding housing, and correct me I'm wrong, I feel like when you're in South Africa, you put your documents together, your pay slips, proof of employment, whatever it is that you want. And in my experience, that's how I've seen it. When we looked for, my husband and I, when we looked for a place in South Africa, the process was very quick. It was literally putting our bank statements together, showing that we work, and sending it to the agency. They do their pre-checks, you get approved, the place is yours, you move in. Here it's slightly different, and I do know that they do have I don't know if I should say rental agencies or properties. I don't know how to call it, okay? But they've got those people that are like the middleman between the tenants and the landlord. And you go view, you make an application, and only if you're successful, then you go through the stages of them checking your paperwork to see if you're eligible. I did find that when you've got a family, it's more difficult to find rental accommodation, and it's up to the landlord to decide if they want you as their tenant or not, which was so wild to me, because before we moved out of staff accommodation, we sort of thought we had a time frame of when we were going to look for a place, because in our heads, and we should have done research, in our heads we thought, oh, you know what, it's going to be the same process as in South Africa. This is not going to take long. Long story short, it took about 3 months for us to find accommodation. And if the landlords really like you, they'll go through your references, your place of employment, do your work, and so forth. And then when you do find the accommodation, you pay a certain deposit, which is pretty much the same back home, but it usually goes into, there's a certain bank account that it goes to, and when it does, that it's like in a trusted account, so all the landlords sort of need to be in that trust or something like that, and then they deposit that money, which can then in time you gain interest on it, and once you move out, that money will be withdrawn, and then if there are any repairs, just like South Africa, if there are any damages or repairs, then they use that money towards it. And then taxes and levies here as well, but you've got your council tax amount set for you for the year. The only other thing that we do pay for that is additional is a permit to use a bin that is specifically dedicated to food waste as well as garden waste. So you pay a set amount for the whole year, and not everyone pays for it because some people don't really have gardens. We've got a bit of a backyard, so all the garden waste goes into there, and it's a once-off fee that you pay each year. Okay, And then you obviously do have your bins that you use for your recycling, which they come to get whatever time depending on the schedule. Now, I think this is very different from England, but we pay a fixed amount for water. It's set out and that's the amount that you pay. I know like back home it's metered, so you pay for what you use. Here it's a fixed amount. Whether you use less or more, you're paying the same amount for water. We've got healthcare as a segment. So here we've got the National Health Insurance, which is the NHS. It is a public funded care system, so it provides you with medical care for free. In our case, we pay for it because we are expats. So depending on your visa rules and regulations, there's a certain amount of money that you have to pay upfront for the NHS, if it makes sense. And this entitles you to go to doctors, hospitals if you need, emergency, and some of it does include pharmacists as well as dentists. So for example, if like I just got my teeth cleaned the other week, I went to a private practice, but I went there as an NHS patient, which the wait is long. I waited quite a few months for that, but also I paid a discounted rate. So the rate that I paid is significantly less than I would have if I had gone to like a private clinic. If you're late for the doctor, also the doctor's not gonna see you 5 minutes. They don't care, you guys. And in my head, I'm just thinking, if you're not gonna see me in this 5 minutes, in the time that I come because I was late, whom are you giving that appointment to? Like, yo guys, you really have to be prompt and on time here. They don't take it. You're not gonna get help. And then I gave birth here, and the nice thing about it, it's public. Remember, it's public healthcare. I got a midwife assigned to me, so she helps you from the time that you find out you're pregnant all the way through to you delivering. Basically, you go through your birth plan, you deliver like you are in a private hospital. The only thing about it is that once you deliver, you go in a ward. You're not in a private room. You can decide whether you want to have a cesarean section, what pain medication do you want when you do give birth, and so on. And they are very much big on car seats here, so you can't even leave the hospital if you don't have a car seat for your wee one. The other nice thing is that your midwife then comes after you've delivered. She comes to your house. They give you phone calls to see if you need any support. They also send other midwives to just see how you're getting on and how the baby is getting on. And then instead of going to like get your baby weighed all the time, you are assigned a health visitor who then schedules appointments with you to see if the baby is progressing quite nicely. What do we need to work on, the challenges that you might have, and they are readily available on your phone if they do have it. One thing about here, they will tell you to take your paracetamol and your ibuprofen. They are very much against medication. You know, you could go to the doctor and he'll say, no, stretch, that's all you need to do, like stretch or take anti-inflammatory, ibuprofen or paracetamol. They just don't give out medications willy-nilly. Like, there's been a few instances where I was like fighting for my life and you just needed to see the doctor. Even the pharmacist will not give you medication until it is prescribed by a doctor. Hectic, I know. Okay, other topic, the work culture. And this is based off a person that works in hospitality, and just what I've seen when I've gone to shops and other places is that they are very, very inclusive of people that are in different spectrums. Those people are still given the opportunity to work, and you do find like a lot of care workers who also bring them out to do normal activities like anyone else. So the fact that they fall under a different spectrum does not particularly restrict them from living normal life or having ordinary jobs. And then another one that I really struggled with is you got a lot of kids working. You get a lot of kids working, and that was a big shocker to me. Like, there's so much emphasis in South Africa in completing matric. If your parents can afford to, or if you get funding, you go to university. So work is not like the first thing that comes to mind at such a young age. But here, like 16-year-olds can decide that they no longer want to be in school, and they leave school, and all they do is work. And that is the same with your older people who are supposed to be like on their pension, retirement. They decide that they just want to go on with their lives, and they still continue working. Like, I've got a colleague in her 70s and she's absolutely fine, she's working fine. So that age of, oh, you need to be in retirement now, does not stop them from working. They get on with it. Like, they just continue. We've lived here in this house for about 2 years, I think, or almost 2 years. Yeah, almost 2 years. And there's so little interactions we've had with our neighbors. It's always just hi, you speak about the weather, and that's it. Like, people are not in your business here, and they're not trying to be. And pouring your own petrol or diesel. There's no petrol attendance here, you guys. You pour your own petrol and diesel. And as if that's not hard enough, ne? You have to pay for air. You have to pay for air when you pump your tires. For screen wash, the water that goes in there for you to wash your screen, you pay for it, Mtasi. You pay for it. This thing of petrol attendance, no, it's not there. And mind you, my husband always does it, ne? Yet my day is coming where I'm gonna have to do it myself, and God forbid, I won't know what to do. I'll be stuck. Also, when it comes to cars, there's a lot of, like, back home, there's a lot of car washes, with actual people washing your car, more than, like, here it's more of a wash and go type of thing. You do it yourself, you put money in the machine, you wash it, and you call it a day. Those car washes where you get people, those are more for your valet type of kind of service. But it's not, you don't go through every corner and there is a car wash. And those stations are usually at the petrol station, or the garage, as we refer to them. And then another one with cars is cars park in any direction. Okay, I'm used to cars parking on oncoming traffic. Is it oncoming? Anyway, they park the same directions. Here you could park facing up, you could park facing down. There's no right or wrong. You just park. Whereas back home, it all follows like one specific direction. Here you could be facing up or you could be facing down, and that's okay. Which also brings me to parking your cars by the street, because not all, like, flats and stuff have dedicated parkings to them. So then if you parked on one side of the road, it means you can only use one side of the road, which makes driving slightly more difficult, more challenging, and you get used to it. Like, the roads are so narrow. Also, the roads are so narrow, they are like so small. You're like, here there isn't even space to breathe. And the parking spaces as well, those parking spaces are for, like, even a quid is big, you guys. They are for those baby small cars. Maybe, yeah, Kitani Picanto, for the Kia Picantos. Otherwise, guys, when I was in South Africa last year, I went to Pick n Pay to just grab a few things, right? But I went on payday. I went on the 25th. And when I tell you that I wanted to cry, the lines were so long. I had more than 10 products, so I couldn't even go to the express queue. So I had to wait it out. I was so frustrated, and I just kept thinking to myself, like, we don't have this in Scotland. You could go to a supermarket and not have to interact with anyone because there'll be self checkout and that's it. It's not all shops, but most of them, like your supermarket, you could scan your own items and pay for them and call it a day without having to wait in line. So yeah, and the fact that the supermarkets here, they open till quite late. So like there's one that closes at midnight, some of them close at 10, some of them close at 11. So you could have a full work day, come back, get on with your life, and go get your groceries, boo. Just like that. So I love that convenience. I appreciate most about South Africa is definitely the vibes. Like, you knew on a Friday, it's a Friday today. I really, really miss the vibes more than anything. But also, I do miss my family a lot. And honestly, what I'm grateful for and what I do like is the opportunities that I have here, and you know, the somewhat the safety that I have here. You know what? I wish I could just bring my family and my friends and have them here. And then life will be Gucci then. Life will be great then. Just a bit of a side note before I wrap this up. Remember, yes, when you convert the pounds into rands, ton of money, yeah? It's a lot of money. But then also you need to remember that the bills are being paid in pounds, but I say they are not being paid in rands. Okay guys, that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything that you want to know, please let me know in the comment section down below. There's some few things that I didn't mention, but I didn't want this video to be super long. So if you'd like to see a part 2, please also let me know and I'll be more than happy to do that. Yeah, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me a Scottish and South African flag in the comment section down below, and I will see you on my next one. Bye for now.